So, interactive scripting week 4, designing Dirt Attack 2 after a successful build of Dirt Attack 1 and launch. Okay, Dirt Attack 2. I've just changed my camera to orthographic mode. And we can set the size. I think it defaults to 5. I'm going to see what that looks like. I'm going to build a plane. Set it to 0, 0, 0. Obviously the orthographic camera can't see it. So I were to rotate it. And I hate orthographic projection. Maybe I'll come back to it later. But for now it stays. This plane should probably be bigger, right? Let's go ahead and build our cubes, our players. Let's see what looks right. How far apart do you think we should have our players? Anybody? 20 units? Let's try it. So that's a scale of 2 on our plane. And that would mean that the players were exactly at the end. So one is at, what, -10? The other is at +10. See ya. And for my cannons, I'm just duplicating the cube and using local to rotate it and to set it just inside. And then we should definitely have a cube right in the middle for our thing that we have to shoot over.
How do we do the drag so it just pulls it out another one?
So here's this. If you have it set to global, it won't drag in the right direction. So make sure this is set to pivot, or sorry, local. And then Control D to duplicate. And then Control click to drag in that direction. Does that get you what you want?
Yeah, bigger than that one.
Okay. Is that mountain too tall? Honestly, I can barely see my players, so I'm going to move my players out just the slightest bit. And then maybe I'll make this mountain, I don't know, kind of curved. Maybe I'll duplicate it. Have more complex mountains.
You have to use orthographic?
No, you don't. I got rid of that because I thought it looked stupid. Okay, if I haven't shown you how to do this, let's create a couple materials. I'm going to right-click in the Project tab and go to Create Material. And then I'll create my empty game object, which can be set to 0, 0, 0. Rename it to game manager. And I'll add the new script, which will be called brains, or I don't know, players controller, Brian's? No, brains. Brains it is. And it'll be the brains because it controls everything. Let's go ahead and do something I usually do in C++, which is write our names on this script. So we should be proud of the stuff we make, right?
Do we have anything in the script though?
Or
Empty game objects.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take care of our input first. So, Justin, our input goes in what method? Perfect. And let's make this a real clean script. We'll be sure to label everything nicely and make it look pretty. So we're going to need player 1 charge and shoot. Nah, how's that going to work? Player 1 charge, okay? So if input dot get key, so that's as long as we hold it down. Key code dot, what's player 1 going to use? Control, left control. Left control. Let's see. Yeah, let's talk about what we want to use to go up and down. We got to make sure we can fit 2 sets of hands on here.
What about the classic WS and then up arrow, down arrow?
Sounds good to me. Sound good to everybody else? Okay, so this one's going to be left control. And we're going to create a Okay, well let's just say let's create a float. Create a float up at the top. Float P1 for player 1. Sorry, there's left control. Float P1 charge equal to 0. And then down on our if statement, we'll say P1 charge plus equals time dot delta time. For the next if statement, we'll have player 1 fire, which will call a new method called P1 fire. And that's all it'll do. So we can put all that on one line too. You guys think you can create that if statement? No. This one's still going to be an input. So this is going to be on left control, get key up. So if input dot get key up, left control, which means you let go of that key, then it's going to call a method called P1 fire. do that. So let's learn a little bit about parameters. Seth brought up the great idea that essentially we are going to do the same thing when we fire. Either it's going to be player 1 or it's going to be player 2. So how do we want to separate the players? If there's only 2, we could use a Boolean.
That's true.
You were thinking a player. We could also just do a number. What do you think, Seth? It's a lot. It's a big decision.
Game object reference.
Oh. But that would entail like other scripts. I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know. We'll go for a different way. Seth, you build yours however you want. All right? And let me know how it goes, and we'll see how it varies from the way I'm going to do it. All right, so let's write this down a little bit. Epic pen. Control 3. Make this longer. So, player 1, fire. And what's player 1 fire going to do, Jamie? So we're going to instantiate, right, create a copy of our bullet. And then we're going to shoot it in a direction. And then we're probably going to reset charge. So the question posed right now is, if we have P2 fire, we're going to do those same 3 things, which is writing almost the same code, but not quite. And optionally, what Seth is thinking is he's just going to make a fire method, and then he's going to send it player 1, or he's going to send it the same function, player 2. And how could we duplicate our code? Because even if we have fire here, this same one fire, I'm going to have, if it's player 1, do the 3 lines, else do the other 3 lines. How can I make that better, Seth? The things that are going to change, it's not going to change that we're shooting a bullet, right? We can shoot the same bullet. We are going to shoot it from a different spot, so that's going to change. And we're going to shoot it in a different direction, that's going to change. And the charge is going to change. So there's very little that we're copying one way or the other. It's a really great example of how to use parameters. So Seth is going to build it the smart way, and we're going to build it the easy way. Does that sound okay for now? Mm-hmm. Okay. So player 1 fire, if input dot get key up, key code dot left control, capital P, P1 fire, just like that. I am going to simplify my comments a little bit. Player 1 input, charge, fire, move up, sorry, not move, rotate. Rotate up, rotate down. Can you guys build the if statements for those? We could definitely use, well, when it's one line of code, building a method for one line of code is silly. That will still be input. The if statement inside will still be if we press W. No matter what. So it will be if input, then get key down, or just get key of W. Then this action here will be to rotate in direction. Okay? So it's hard to know, right? Perfect, it's player one.
Right.
So you can select that. You can go to the rotate. We're probably going to rotate on the Z axis.
Oh, okay.
And so how much, right?
Right.
So, and in what direction? Positive or negative?
Yeah. And this one goes, yeah, okay.
So let's just start at 1
And start,
times delta times that delta time.
pull that. Okay.
It'd be the same as not having the 1.
But, so when we pull down, it will move at the rate. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Okay. And then same thing, but negative. You're welcome to help each other, talk to each other. We're in helping mode while I design your assignment. Yep, love it. It's a great assignment. Fix this input open parentheses, and then another open parentheses, and then we need 2 closing parentheses. Here as well. No, 1 line. Yep. Okay, so think about where all the boxes. Actually, we can just look at our box in Unity. When I'm talking about this, we're rotating on the x-axis, and then y-axis and z-axis we're not rotating. Look at our box. That's fine. Okay, so take this guy here. He's the camera. This is your other box. You get to it then. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it later. You'll notice eventually, sorry, that it's going to rotate the wrong direction. We'll fix that later. The player ones on the left side will be on the left side of the keyboard, which is going to be an S. Good. Open and close, so no semicolon. Open and close parentheses. Those characters. Furthermore, you can play it with vinyl. I don't know, rotate. So instead of doing a negative one, we should call that speed. Right? So full speed equal to, I don't know, 30. That way you can rotate at 30 degrees times double time. Right? Yeah, good rotation. It's very small. Yeah. So if you've got rotation, you're going to want to add speed to let it rotate. So you'll rotate that speed times time.delta time, which will let us have more control. You go.
Very little rotation.
You can tell if you look at the box's inspector, you'll see it go up in tiny amounts. And then click back on the game. There it is. How tiny the game is. 30 is probably a good value. Okay. Input.get key, because it doesn't need to, we're going to hold it down. Keycode.w to rotate up. Close parentheses. Transform.rotate. Oh! How'd you guys do that?
We have to assign to a game object and then do transform rotate.
Nice. Great, perfect. I didn't even consider that part yet. I hadn't gotten that far in the code. I'm going to build 2 transforms so that I can get straight to player 1.
Oh, you can just,
You like that?
how you do it.
That's a nice one, isn't it? And then we'll do GameObject.find. One dot transform Alright, I want to see what mine does. Error, unexpected symbol, player 1 fire, because I didn't build my method. Line 28. Aha. There. Transform does not condition for rotate, which means capital R. Probably. And we're good. For good measure and just to test, I'm going to add a print statement that says bang, so that I can hit left control or let go of left control and see if it fires. Okay. Oh, right. Because I didn't name my cubes. Okay. Rotation looks good. And firing looks good. Okay. Whoa, click 910.
It's not even rotating.
Oh, it's not even rotating?
No.
Transform, rotate.
Maybe it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, you change this to be
Yeah,
transform,
not
and then
sure.
as the transform with player one,
Capital
player
I
two,
on
or maybe player one. Because player one is the transform
This function
for
as
object.
We don't use the transform for that?
No,
Okay.
because this is
P,
So it's not assigned to the unit the program's on. It's trying to
Make sure you're
Yeah, there's a-
right here.
I realize how all-encompassing
That
there is now.
totally new convention.
This game object.find, that's the player one, right? It's finding that object. But then you do the dot transform, and it's finding the transform position, the rotation, the scale
What do you got,
of
John?
that object. And then achieving that with the
So you're trying to name these so you can rotate them and stuff?
I'm thinking about
So
rotate.
this
Because
cube here.
rotate is part of transform, which is a part of game object.
This cube then.
That is good.
If we really want to
We'll name
get
this guy
even
player
clever, we
one.
could probably do
So
dot
right up
transform,
there.
dot rotate, and then just sort of put player one that. Don't know if that works, but that's
And then
it's
enter.
a hierarchy that you can't really see until you've done it so many times.
Player two.
So what?
No.
Silver.
And enter. And the reason I chose that is from the camera's view. This is on the right, this is on the left. So player one will be here, player two will be here. Okay.
You get
Don't switch them.
Is doing it the one
But
time.
if you wanted to just right click
Wait, I
and
have
drag
it. I already tried hitting key.
to turn to look the other direction.
Did you try again? Not looking in the transform.
So actually just click this red guy there. And then click it one more time right there. And then you can look around to find what you want.
Thank you. Cool.
This will be roughly the view of the camera. If you were to change it. There. That's what the camera will see. So player one, player two. Yeah? These are your materials? Good. Click on that guy. Click on that white box. Pick the color you want for player one. And then somewhere in here. Bingo. You can close that now. And we can drag that, or yeah, you can just let go. Beautiful. And then just drag these onto the people. Bingo. Bingo. Okay. And oh, yeah, you sure? Let's look at your code for a second.
The code's good.
Code's correct? You get the void start? Okay. Lowercase p on these because they're variables. They're the same names as this right here. And they're finding these names, which are these names. Okay? So, time to find them forks. Save it and hit play and see if you can rotate stuff. Can you? What are you guys working on? Jamie, what are you working on?
I'm just trying to get P1 fire to display.
To say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Blaine, what are you working on?
Nothing really at the moment.
Okay.
I can find something to do.
Well, you know what? It's actually a great time to take another break. Let's come back at 9:25 and we'll build some more stuff. If you have questions, you want to work on your code, I'm here to help.
So it's not displaying.
So you're holding down control when you're there on display.
Why is that? Oh, okay, never mind. There we go.
Great work.
Yeah, thanks.
Crushed it. Will, got any questions? We're trying to. Okay, so we got transform. Because this is a little transform, we don't have to have this transform now. So we just get rid of that word instead. Let's see, player one will rotate open on zero void. This looks good and it should rotate. Actually go back one more time. Here, P1, and that's what you named it here. Yeah. Cool. So we have some errors. First one is what? Okay, line 17. I think I know what this is. Void start. Game object at find, and let's capitalize those G's. This function, this method, finds a game object. We can't assign a transform to a game object. So at the end of this, after the parentheses, we're going to say dot transform.
It's just 3 cubes.
So we're not finding the game object, we're finding the transform on that game object. Try that. Cool. So you've only got one, and it's rotating on the wrong axis, which looks pretty cool. We should probably leave that going forever. But we want the Z axis.
Is your AB blown away?
Yes.
Just prints out the message.
Get some motivation?
Someone's asking to play your game object.
Mm-hmm. And so player name, keep message. Okay.
Is there an advantage to using the find component?
As opposed to dragging it in there?
Yeah.
What is the advantage? Sometimes things will mess up and it will reset all of your drag and drops. When we built our game, our VR game to go on Steam, we had like 40 things that we dragged and dropped in one script, and it really, really, really sucked to have to drag and drop those again. So that's why I do it that way. Been through the trenches. If you guys want to get back to it, player 2 needs all the same inputs, so you can get ahead there. You can probably copy and paste.
Okay.
Another question would be, do you want to use right control to shoot? Or would you rather pick something else?
That's what I told you about.
Right control is probably fine.
Is there any way to clean it up? Is it too hard?
Unless it's dangerous. You can always, well, one, you can get rid of these. Or you can put them somewhere else. To the outside of the side. Two, make sure you have this is player 1's input, this is player 2's.
You put a lot of space between them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Jamie asked if we could clean it up at all. You can put those comments to the side, which I would do, but I have to make my text real large. I think I'll still do that anyway. Nope. Seth, did you have to change the rotation speed to be negative on player 2? Or opposite?
No.
Okay, because I rotated mine around to face the right direction. Did you do that?
Yes, I rotated it 180 degrees.
Great.
Another thing I was really happy that worked.
Yeah?
I couldn't stand making fun of my small variables anymore. So I went ahead and edited the one, and then the down where you can copy the component
Uh-huh.
and then paste it on the other one.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unity's got so many cool little features.
Yeah, it does. Okay, that's much cleaner, isn't it? Suppose I need a void p2 fire. Print. Okay, what are we at? We're good, we're all roughly in the same place. Ben, what are you up to? Making pretty cool stuff. You're doing angles, yeah? Make sure it doesn't run too far. Something in there that says can't convert a transform to a game object. That one, what line is that? 17? Looks like you fixed that. Ah, but these are game objects. Change these to transforms. No, don't do that because you set all your code up to work the right way. So leave it back to game object, control V. Perfect. And just get rid of these two. So game object undefined, find a game object. Player 1 or player 2 is a game object, so game object equals game object.
To do what? Sorry. Click it? Oh, okay, now that you have that selected, you can hit Control D. So it creates the object and you can drag it out.
Try to assign the rotation.
And then here you can shrink it.
So,
I have mine at 0.5 on the scale for some reason.
because transform.rotation is in quaternion mode, you could probably
Sounds
use
small.
transform.Euler angles is equal to this, this, and that.
You can,
Or you can do it the way I'm doing.
if you're happy with it
If
this
you want
way.
to do it your way,
Now you want to drag it in the hierarchy over there. You want to drag it in onto player 1, so it becomes Is it a different color? You mean maybe the sign rotate it? Select your player 1 parent, so the main key,
I think,
and then
your way.
this
Just
is
need a transform dot Euler,
Z axis, the blue one.
EUR.
I just rotate that instead of 45 degrees.
And then start with angles. Equals that. Try that.
And this one,
That one.
so
If not, look this
to
up in the
ensure that I wasn't having to
I'll probably
calculate
have to
like
fix it here as
a
well.
positive number for one game object and a negative for your other, or try to figure out values for that, I went ahead and rotated it around the y-axis. So we're going to spin it around by 180 degrees. And then now you can rotate on the z-axis.
Better look it up in the documentation. Euler angles. Genie and Blaine, you guys should work on
drag that
fun
onto
stuff.
the player 2.
Oh, optional, right?
And
Two
you
things to
can
work on.
drag
One
on
is
this one.
make it so that it doesn't
Okay.
rotate if it goes above 90 degrees.
Yeah, we'll go ahead
And then
I'll
two,
show you
make it
real
shoot
quick.
something.
So if you click on the
Which
camera,
we already had in
on
our
the
last
balloon,
game.
Yeah, that's
in the actual
Yeah.
smaller square. And then if you go over here,
You were
drop
taking the
down
wrong
here,
direction.
and copy component.
That looks like
And now click on your, in the hierarchy, your canyon in player 2.
Use the same thing.
And then drop down the transform here.
Click on player 1.
You hit paste
We're
component.
going to launch it instead. Yeah, so it'll
I got like the pressure we use.
Ah,
We're
get
gonna
key
use
down.
multi pyramids on each side. You want if you want to change the size.
Yeah.
If you change the size of the parent, then it'll scale both of them down.
We got what?
Shoot.
So that just means that it doesn't know what it's shooting. Yeah? Just into the center. Is that the ball? That's what you want to shoot, so go to game object. And then drag shot to that non-gridded dot spot. Now it knows what it's shooting. Let's see what we got. Yes! Yeah. Progress. All that code's in your last guy, so you'll just keep iterating. How's it going now? Is it routine?
Yes.
Just still slow. Ooh. Let's see, what did I do? I think when I showed this off the first time, the constraining stuff, I wanted to do exactly 90 and 0, but it didn't work because when it got to 0, it went to like 359.
Oh.
So what I did was 85 and 5. What do you got, John?
Hey, looks real good.
Okay, what's not working? None of it? Do we have our names the same way in our script? Okay, I guess we don't have any null reference exceptions. Scroll to the top. Perfect, great work. Well, player 1, player 2, capital P needs to match this, which I think was lowercase. Click on player 2 for me. Should I click on player 1? And then hit play. I want to launch these numbers. As we hit W. Nothing. Control. Nothing. Okay, turn that off. Let's go to game manager. We don't have our script attached to anything, so drag this guy here. It might be attached to something else, but it's possible that it's not attached to anything. Yeah? Okay. It might. Oh. Alright, and up and down. Yeah. And shooting. Control. This one. Nice. Very nice. Okay. I worry that this is not set to the right yet key, so let's go back to our code. Yeah. So this is going to be get key down. That's good. Leave that. Sorry, it's going to be get key because we're going to push it down and hold it. And every frame is going to add more to charge. But this one here is get key up, which means when you let go of it, that's when it shoots. Yes, we'll do that for player 2 as well. Choose fire. Great work. So the next two things we were working on was making sure that it didn't rotate too far. So I'm going to look at the rotation of this guy. He's going to rotate to 85 or 5. So and, that's the and operator. You guys can watch or you can do your own thing. I'm sure you guys, some of you are way ahead of me. Input get key code arrow and player 2 dot Euler angles, I think. Okay. Okay. And shooting. Let's see how we did it in our other code. Spin box. Projectile. Hmm. One thing you might want to remember is to reset your player one charge. I'm also running into an issue where it's not going in the direction of my cannon, it just keeps going exactly to the right. Also, my cannons are in the wrong spot. Whoosh. There we go. Seth, does yours shoot like it should?
I haven't that far.
Haven't gone that far.
Getting stuck on constrained by rotation.
Okay. I'd be happy to show you what I've got. Yep, there you go.
So I was using on going up,
Mm-hmm.
past 90 it goes negative.
Mm-hmm.
So I use absolute value from MathF to
Nice.
keep it positive.
Yeah.
That worked.
Mm-hmm.
Going down, for some reason, it shows it's going negative here.
Ah, really?
And then
Oh, I had to do that
past
too.
0. And I was like, okay, it should be, it's not, or it's
Yeah.
less than 0. It should be doing this, but it wasn't.
Did you figure it out? So what happens is Euler angles and quaternions are different. And in the quaternions, it went -0. In the Euler angles, if you print out Euler angles, it says it's going to it's going to 360 or 359, and I was like, but yeah, that's why constraining it to 5 works great. Okay. Does anybody else have shooting working? Blaine, does your shooting work?
Not yet.
Janie?
It's going the wrong direction.
Oh, fancy.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Does it work now?
Yep.
Oh. Nice.
I do wonder if maybe, okay, so the angles, how do I change? They're both going this way, and one go this way, one go this way. So for the angles of them turning, so this is farther left, to change the shooting, do that with this final plane. I don't have to worry about the other one. Okay, I'll just switch those.
Okay, hold on a second. One other thing. Play. Make them both go up. So, player 1 is green apparently,
So,
and player 2.
is red, so I need to turn those around.
So what I did, this was player 1, and it rotates up and down the right way.
Yeah.
But if we do the same thing, just copying the cube over, he's going to rotate the opposite way. So I just rotated player 2 around 180 degrees, so that it's looking up was the same as that. Okay?
Okay.
I think that would fix yours, so everything was exactly the same. Player 2 is just turned around 180 degrees.
You don't mess with code.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk assignments, because we're getting pretty close to done, and we made a lot of good progress. What do you guys think? Yeah? I'm excited about what we're building. I think we might rebuild our up and down to use a horizontal axis next week. I have 3 things I want you to do for homework. Number 1 is the cat-like coding tutorial for clock. You'll just turn that enemy in. That'll be great. Number 2 I want you to create an itch.io page for Dirt Attack. The first one. Okay, you guys can do that. It was just like what I was showing you with my Game Jam project. Just has a short description, has it download so you can download it, and like 3 screenshots. Yeah, not hard. And then 3, I want you to build an itch.io for Dirt Attack 2. Doesn't have to have a download. We don't have to create a build yet, but I want to see screenshots from Unity and a short description of what it's going to do. Okay? So let me show you this tutorial. catlightcoding.com/unity/tutorials. Are you ready? Steel yourselves. This is what you make, which is pretty neat.
I just hand you a watch.
Right? But we already have clocks. Damn it. If you'll believe it or not, this website has lots of tutorials, and that is the easiest, smallest one by far. But if you want to build Civilization 5, there you go, Settlers of Catan. So it's, yes, lengthy tutorial, but to be fair, it's also zoomed in. So slightly easier when it's not zoomed in. It is a lot of text, but he tells you a lot of really cool hacks. Why is my game window small with a dark border? What about 2D objects? He'll go into what are components. He'll get into, yeah, so the entire first half doesn't even have programming, it's just building the clock. Okay, building some clock, animating the clock. Then we get into some code here. He's going to code things a little bit differently than I do, which is good because he'll cover some things that I'll forget to cover, like what's a class technically? What's the default access modifier? This will really up your game. I really enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to go through this tutorial again.
Can you link it in the module?
In the assignment, yes. And then itch.io. Make sure, Brian is brilliant, itch.io. Make sure when you send me a link to your game that it's published. I've had it several times that people will build this and just save it as a draft, and then I can't see anything because it's a draft. It needs to be published. It'll have a download. And you know, the more you add to this, the more to your benefit because it's a portfolio piece. But otherwise, just get it up there so people can see it. Okay, I'm going to build the assignment and then go home. Y'all should pack up what you've made, make sure you've got everything saved, and then you guys should go home too. If you've got questions, I'll be here until 10:15. Oh, I guess I also want you to, for next week, be ready, have your shooting going and your pause rotation, so we won't have to worry about that. I will put that in the video, which you can watch if you need help.